हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for your kind association. Let us get started. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamhayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Śrīvāsadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadasya yatonvayaditaratascharteshvabhigyaswarat Tene brahmaridaya adikavaye muhyanti yatsurayah Tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha Dhamna svena sada nirastakuhakam satyam param dhimahi धर्म प्रोजित कैतवोत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्योरिद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः सवै पुंसां परो धर्मो यथो भक्तिरधोक्षजे अहैतुक्य प्रतिहता ययात्मा सुप्रसीदति वदन्ति तत्तत्त्वविदस्तत्त्वं यज्ञानमद्वयं ब्रह्मेति परमात्मेति भगवानिति शब्दते अतः पुंभिर्द्विजश्रेष्ठा वर्णाश्रमविभागशः स्वनुष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम् एते चांशकला पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयं इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे तद्वाग्विसर्गो जनताघविप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकमभदवत्यपि नामान्यनन्तास्य यशोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः यस्यां वै श्रूयमाणायां कृष्णे परमपुरुषे भक्तिरुत्पद्यते पुंसः शोकमोहभयापहा आत्मा रामाश्च मुनयो निर्ग्रन्था उरुक्रमे कुर्वन्ति यहेतु किं भक्तिं इत्थं भूतगुणो हरिः त्वयि मेऽनन्य विषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वहताद् अद्धा गंगेवौघम् उदन्वती हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association. Let us get started with our Bhakti Vaibhava course, the study of the first 6 cantos of Grantharaj Śrīmad Bhagavatam. We are reading from the first canto, chapter 8, entitled Prayers of Queen Kunti. And we are going to start the first stuti of this great literature called Śrīmad Bhagavatam. There are many stutis in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, many prayers. In fact, I remember very clearly, in 2017, I was talking to Amarendra Prabhu, our dear Amarendra Prabhu, and I was very much inspired by his Harikatha, by his example, by his purity. So I asked him, Prabhuji, what is the source of your such wonderful Harikatha? When I hear your Harikatha, I feel very inspired to do bhajan. So what is the source of your, what is the reason for such wonderful Harikatha? What is the secret? Please tell me your secret. And I very clearly remember. In fact, this was the first time we were speaking on the phone. And he told me that Prabhuji, it is 2 things. The songs of our Vaishnava Acharya that Srila Prabhupada has given in the Vaishnava songbook, the songs of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and other Acharyas. So the songs, the Bengali songs of our Vaishnava Acharyas, and the prayers of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. The prayers of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. He said these 2 things. The songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas and the prayers of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. I just keep reading them again and again, and I get so much inspiration from them. Amarendra Prabhu was telling me. So then I realized that Śrīmad Bhagavatam is filled with prayers. Until then, I did not know. So Śrīmad Bhagavatam is filled with prayers, filled with stuti. And the first stuti in Śrīmad Bhagavatam is Kunti Stuti. And today we are going to do Shri Ganeshaya Namaha of this first very beautiful stuti in Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Day before yesterday in the previous session, we saw the prayers of Shri Uttara. They were very short, 2-3 verses only. But now there is proper stuti, beautiful prayers. So can you raise your hands and tell me what are some of the prayers in Śrīmad Bhagavatam? The different stutis. Raise your hand. So I will call out your name. You unmute and speak the name of one stuti and then mute yourself. Okay. So let me increase the volume. So, okay, let's get started. Okay. Sundari Gopi Mataji.
Bhishma Stuti.
Very nice. Shama Kishori Mataji.
Gajendra Stuti.
Very nice. Ambika Mataji. Okay. Anjaneya or Anita Mataji. Just any prayer.
Gajendra Moksha Stuti.
Yes, good. Gajendra Moksha. Sandeep Prabhu.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. Very nice. You remember Srila Jayadvaita Maharaj came and he spoke in Atlanta?
That's
Yes.
Yes.
Manju Bhashini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, Vritasur, 4th sloka. Vritasur.
Vritrasur, the Chatushloki. Yes, the 4 prayers of Vritrasur from the 6th canto. Yes, thank you,
Guru Maharaj.
Kirtita Sundari Mataji.
Prayers of demigods to the womb of Mother Devaki.
Garbhastuti. Very nice.
Garbhastuti.
Yes. Ram Sham Prabhu.
Sir, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Gopi Git.
You spoke the highest. Yes, Gopi Git. Very dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Amrit Karana Prabhu.
Nagapatni Stuti.
Wow. Very good. Vivek Prabhu.
Prayers of Akrura.
Prayers of Akrura, yes. In fact, Akrura is the Acharya. for offering prayers. Very nice, Vivek Prabhu. Excellent. Shanta Radhika Mataji?
Brahma Stuti.
Yes, the prayers of Lord Brahma, 10th canto, 14th chapter, I think. Yes, Kavita Mataji?
Prayers of Kunti Devi.
Yes, Kunti Stuti. Yes, very nice. Purnima Mataji?
Rukmini prayers.
The beautiful prayers of Rukmini Devi. Yes. Aradhya Madhavi Mataji?
Oh, I don't know if it counts, but prayers by ladies of Hastinapur, does it count?
Yes, that counts. Prayers of the ladies of Hastinapur. We will be reading them. Then co-host Muktasanga Prabhu. Sorry, it's just not readable.
Uddhav Geet. Uddhav Geet.
Uddhav Geet. Very nice. Uddhav also offers prayers in the end. Yes, Uddhav Geet. Shamchandra Prabhu, 11th canto. Yeah.
Venu Geet.
Venu Geet. Yes, Shamchandra Prabhu. Thank you. Anjaneya or Anita Mataji?
I was gonna say Venugit.
Okay, yes, we can say it again, no problem. Sucharu Padma Mataji?
Prayers of Nagapatni.
Yes. Rukmini Priya Mataji?
Shukamuni Mangalacharanam. Shukamuni's Mangalacharanam.
Shukdev Goswami's Mangalacharan? Okay. Rukmini Priya ho gaya. Then Radhika Mataji?
Pingala, the Stuti, I guess.
Which one?
Pingala.
Pingala Geet. Okay, yes, very nice. Somebody who has not Satyarupa Mataji and Janani Mataji?
Nanda Maharaja's prayer.
The prayers of Nanda Maharaj, yes, very nice. And Janani Mataji, you want to say something also?
Janani Mataji spoke now, Prabhu.
Okay, Satyarupa Mataji, you want to say something?
Yes, Prabhu. Vratrasur Prarthana.
Okay, that is also. So now I will not get confused because the mother, your mother is Janani. Janani Mataji. You are Satyarupa Mataji. Okay, very nice. Easy to remember. Yes, there are many gifts, there are many prayers. Shama Vallavi Mataji last.
To Maharaj prayers.
Wow, very good. Prayers of Prithu Maharaj. Very nice. Then there is Rudra Geet also. The prayers of Bhumi Devi, Bhumi Geet. So there are many prayers, many stutis like that in Śrīmad Bhagavatam. But in these 12 cantos, 18,000 shlokas of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, the first set of stutis is Kunti Stuti, which we are going to start today. So let's start. Verse number 18, chapter 8. Kuntya Yuvacha Namasye Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antarbahir Avasthitam. Translations and purports are all by our most revered, most beloved Param Guru, Om Vishnupad, Paramhams Parivrajakaacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Śrīmad Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Our beloved founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Srimati Kunti Devi said, Namasya Purusham Tvadyam. O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you. Why? Krishna will say, why? You are my auntie. I am your nephew. Why are you? Always you give me Ashirvad when I am going to Dwarka. Whenever I meet you, you always give me your blessings, Ashirvad. I touch your feet, and now you're saying, you're doing namaskar to, you are offering your namaskar to me, my dear auntie. Why? Is everything okay? Namasya Purusham Tvadyam. So she's saying, no. I am doing namaskar because you are the original personality. Purusham Tvadyam. You are the Adi Purush. Adyam means original. I offer my obeisances unto you. Why? Because you are the original personality of Godhead. And you are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. Ishwaram Prakrite Param. This whole world is under the control of Prakriti. Prakriti is Durga Devi. But Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mayadhyakshena Prakriti. This Prakriti is under Krishna's control. The three modes of material nature are also under Krishna's control. So you are the supreme personality of Godhead and you control this whole material world. And alaksham sarva bhutanam antar bahir avasthitam. Such a beautiful glorification of Krishna, that you are present within and without. How Kunti is saying that? What did we see in the previous session of our study of Śrīmad Bhagavatam? That Krishna entered the womb of Uttara and protected Parikshit Maharaj in the womb. Why? We saw because Krishna is present in every atom, every molecule of this world as Vishnu. He is entered in every particle of this world. So therefore, Kunti has just seen how Krishna saved Parikshit in the womb of Uttara. So with experience, with full realization, she is saying that Antar Bahir Avasthitam. You are present within and without. And although you are so close, you are in everyone's heart as Paramatma, but this whole world doesn't understand you. They cannot see you. Therefore, you are Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam. You are invisible to the whole world, even though you are present outside and inside. This is the contradiction. Krishna is filled with very sweet contradictions. One contradiction is, although Krishna is present inside and outside, everywhere, still nobody sees him. Nobody sees him. Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj, one of the three Babaji Maharajas in our Sampradaya. We have Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, we have Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, and a contemporary of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur was also Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj. He was actually a contemporary of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj. So he had a very sweet relationship with his Gaur-Nitai deities. He would hold them responsible for guarding his bhajan kutir. So once he had gone to do Madhukari, so he could beg some food and get it to offer to his Gaur-Nitai. At that time, and he only had two pots, one for Gaura, one for Nitai. He would cook in those pots, whatever little rice he got, and he would offer it in those pots only. So one pot was for Nitai, one pot was for Gaura. So he went to do Madhukari, just in his cloth or in his hands, get some rice. So his Gaur-Nitai deities were in his bhajan kutir. All he had was small little bhajan kutir on the bank of Ganga. And he had two metal pots. And some petty thieves, they came. They broke into his bhajan kutir and they didn't find anything of value. They didn't take Gaur-Nitai. So they just thought these two metal bowls we can take and we can sell them in the market and get little money. So they stole those two bowls. So Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj comes back to his bhajan kutir and he finds that the two bowls are gone. So he wants to punish his Gaur-Nitai because they failed to guard the property. He said, I go begging for both of you so I can get some food for both of you. Both of you are just standing here doing nothing. The least you can do is guard this kutir of yours. That also you don't do. You are so careless. Today I will not feed you. In fact, today I'm going to drown you in the Ganga as a punishment. So he takes a rope, ties it around the waist, Damodar, makes Damodar out of Gaur-Nitai, ties it around the waist of Gaur-Nitai and throws Gaur-Nitai into the Ganga. Throws Gaur-Nitai into the Ganga. And then that rope, he puts it on the ground and puts his foot on that rope and is standing like this. Like Panduranga. He's standing. So the news spreads all over Navadvip that Babaji Maharaj has become mad. He has thrown Gaur-Nitai in the ocean, in the river, and on that rope, he has put his foot and he's standing like that. So some people came and started criticizing, what is this? Don't throw them in the river and don't keep your foot on the rope that is tied to them. So they were thinking that Babaji Maharaj has gone crazy. But actually Babaji Maharaj has not gone crazy. Babaji Maharaj had very divine Vatsalya Bhav for his Gaur-Nitai. And just to teach the bystanders, it is said, just to teach them a lesson, they said, why are you putting your foot on the rope that is tied to Gaur-Nitai? Then he told those bystanders that, okay, tell me where I should keep my food then. Tell me one place where there is no Gaur Nitai. Tell me one place where there is no Gaur Nitai, which means Gaur Nitai is present everywhere. Of course, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur understood the divine position of Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj, and he would offer obeisances from a distance to Srila Vamshidas Babaji. And after some time, he got Gaur Nitai out also. And then he said that now you have to go and get your pots back. So somehow one thief came and returned one pot, and it was Gauranga's pot. So Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj told Gauranga, very good, very good. Now you will get to eat. But Nitai, today you have to fast because your bowl has not come. So he cooked rice in that one pot, whatever Madhukari he had done, and he gave it to Gaura. And Nitai had to fast. But then Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj was feeling bad that my Nitai has to fast. He said, okay, wait, let me go to that village and find out who that thief is. And let me see if I can get your pot back. So he goes and he comes to know that this one person has stolen that bowl. A very dangerous criminal. So Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj goes and knocks on that door and says, give me that bowl back. It belongs to Nitai. He has not eaten anything. This thief comes out and, he gets very angry that he is going to get caught now. So he pushes Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj very hard, violently. And Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj, he falls backwards and he hurts his leg. He falls on, hurts his leg. And this thief runs away with that pot. And then Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj comes back limping to the kutir and tells Nitai that I went to get your pot, but that thief hit me. Now I don't know what to do. How will I feed you? You are hungry. And he starts crying. At that time, some villager comes with a new pot for Nitai and some rice. He says, Babaji, cook this and feed your Nitai. You can use this pot. So this is a beautiful reciprocation of Krishna with his devotees. And then the villager saw that person who had pushed Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj and the thief who had pushed Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj, he got a very deadly disease and died. This was there in the biography of Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj. I had read it a long time ago. Srila Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj has written a book, biography of Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj. So like that. So what we learn here is Krishna is everywhere. This Siddhanta, Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj knew. And the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita, he had Kanthastha, Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj. And he would just sing it to himself many times. Although he was illiterate, he never had any books, but Divya Jnana Hriday Prakashito. Everything was there. In fact, he would tell certain verses which are not there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but Babaji Maharaj said they are from Chaitanya Charitamrita. For example, in the Madhya Lila, there is the Sanatan Shiksha. Correct? Sanatan Shiksha. There are 5 chapters describing Mahaprabhu's teachings to Sri Sanatan Goswami. So in that, Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj says that there is a verse that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught Sanatan Goswami, where Mahaprabhu says, what is that verse? Namaruchi Vaishna. What is that verse? Jibe doya name ruchi Vaishnava sevan ei chadi dharma nahi shuno sanatan. Says Mahaprabhu, and he would constantly sing this. And when he was asked where is this verse from, he would say this from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mahaprabhu said this to Srila Sanatan Goswami. I'm again forgetting the verse. Sorry. Jive doya name ruchi Vaishnava. Thank you. Jive doya name ruchi Vaishnava sevan. Do these 3 things. Jive doya, preach. Name ruchi, chant the name with ruchi. And Jibe doya name ruchi Vaishnava sevan. Do Vaishnava seva. So for the Vaishnavas you serve, for the innocent you preach, and for yourself you do lots of Nam Bhajan. Jibe doya name ruchi Vaishnava sevan ei chadi dharma nahi shuno sanatan. So Sanatan, listen, other than these 3 things, there is no other dharma in Kali Yuga. Just do these 3 things. And then in some old edition of Chaitanya Charitamrita, this was actually found. Actually, in the Gaudiya Math, our Chaitanya Charitamrita that we read, this verse is not there. But in many of the Gaudiya Sampradayas, Parivars, this verse is there in their Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj also, in his books, sometimes he would quote some verses which are from Chaitanya Charitamrita, but it is not in the edition of Chaitanya Charitamrita that we have. There are only few verses. Only few verses, because there are many editions. No? In those days, they would handwrite, and sometimes some verses would get omitted. So like that. So this is a Siddha Purush, Srila Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj. So like that. So Kunti Maharani is offering prayer that Krishna is everywhere. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that Kunti Devi was fully aware that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he was playing the part of her nephew. So then Srila Prabhupada writes, the living entities are apt to fall down under the clutches of material nature, but the Lord is never like that. We can get illusioned, we can get bhramit, we have imperfect senses, we can make mistakes, we have a tendency to cheat. These 4 defects we have, conditioned soul. But Krishna does not have those 4 defects, and the pure acharyas and their words, Arshavakya, their words don't have these defects. Srila Shukdev Goswami, Srila Vyasadeva, they don't have these 4 defects. Therefore, Krishna is described, Srila Prabhupada says, as the chief among all living entities. We are living entities, Krishna is also living entity, but Krishna is chief living entity. Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam. We are conscious, Krishna is also conscious, but he's the most conscious among all conscious entities. Chetanas Chetananam, like that. And verse number 19. Now, in the interest of time, we will not be reading all the verses. Then Kunti Maharani continues praying, being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. Hare Krishna. So if someone has full makeup of a particular character, then the audience are seeing the character very closely, but they don't know who this person is. Therefore, after the drama, after the dramatic performance, all the actors, they come, right? And they say, this Arjun's role was played by this Prabhu, Bhimsen's role was played by this Prabhu, Krishna's role was played by this Prabhu, like that. Kunti Maharani, this Mataji, Draupadi Devi, this, like that. So they tell, because audience don't know, because there's complete makeup. So just like that, ordinary people, foolish people who are atheists, they cannot understand Krishna. Even though they may see Krishna, even though they may participate in Krishna, they may not know Krishna, not understand Krishna. And this is because of the curtain of Krishna's illusory energy. Because Krishna is beyond the sense perception, adhokshaja, beyond the sense perception. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, now listen carefully, raise your hand if you know what verse of Bhagavad Gita this is. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna affirms that less intelligent persons mistake him to be an ordinary man like us, and thus they deride him. Okay, Shama Vallavi Mataji.
Avajananti mamuda manushim tanum ashrita parambhavam ajananto namabhuta maheshwaram.
Very nice, very nice. Avajananti. They deride me, not understanding me, considering me to be an ordinary person when I appear as a human being. Avajananti ma mudha manushim tanum ashrita. The less intelligent persons, those who rebel against the authority of Krishna, they are less intelligent, they are mudhas. Such persons are known as asuras. When the Lord himself appears among us as Ram, Narasimha, Varaha, or in his original form as Krishna, Prabhupada says Krishna is the original form, he performs many wonderful acts which are humanly impossible. And Srila Prabhupada says that in the 10th canto, this is the first canto, but Srila Prabhupada is thinking always of 10th canto. Srila Prabhupada says in the 10th canto, many such humanly impossible activities of Shri Krishna, who is performing Naravat Leela, are mentioned. And Srila Prabhupada mentions few. As a newborn child, he killed Putana. As a 7-year-old child, he lifted up Govardhan Hill like a mushroom. It's picked up by a child. And he has shown marvelous capacities as a hero, as a householder, as a teacher, and as a renouncer. So here is the quick question. Raise your hand if you can quickly in one sentence tell how Krishna has showed marvelous capacity as a hero, as a perfect householder, a perfect teacher, a perfect student, and a perfect renouncer. Any one sentence can you explain how Krishna is a marvelous hero, not an ordinary human being, as a householder, Yes, Ajinkya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. So Prabhu, Krishna married 16,108 wives, but he was able to present, like he was like at the same time he was present at the same time with all of them, and he didn't do any like injustice to any one of them. So that way he was the perfect householder.
Yes. Wonderful example. So can an ordinary person do this? Impossible, not possible. So very good. Then as a student, how he was extraordinary? Amrit Karan Prabhu.
He is actually student of Sandipani Muni. It's a wonderful. Within 64 days, he
learned all the
64 lessons.
Yes. So in the daytime, Sandipani Muni would instruct Krishna and Balram. There are 64 different vidyas. There is like Dhanur Vidya, there is Ayurveda, there are the Vedas, there is the art of drawing, art of pottery, art of sewing clothes, different. There are 64 kala, 64 branches of knowledge, astrology, Jyotish Shastra, all those things. And Sandipani Muni would teach for one day, one vidya. At night, Krishna would memorize it, and next day Krishna was ready for the next. Normally, this would take at least 12 years in the Gurukul, sometimes 20 years. From the age of 5 to the age of 25, the students would stay with the Guru to learn all the 64 vidyas. And most students were not able to study all 64 completely. But Krishna studied all 64 completely, not in 20 years, but in just 64 days. World record. Just in 64 days, Krishna learned when he was 11 and a half years old, or 12 years old boy. He graduated from the school of Sandipani Muni. So my Guru Maharaj, Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj, once he was speaking about this pastime from the 10th canto, and he was asked, oh, Maharaj, why 64 days? Why even 64 days? Why not faster than that? He's Bhagwan, na? So he should, why 64 days? That's also a lot of time. Fat se kar, jaldi karna chahiye. Why? Why not even less than that? So Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj immediately replied, because that was the maximum speed at which Sandipani Muni could teach. So it was not Krishna, Balram were not the bottlenecks. The bottleneck was Sandipani Muni, because he could not teach any faster. Like that. So that was how Krishna was a marvelous hero, extraordinary, even though he came as a human being, but he was suprahuman as a student. How about Krishna being suprahuman as a teacher? Manju Bhashini Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Pandavas for Arjuna he accepted. No.
Huh? I could not hear. What about Pandavas?
Pandavas for Arjuna he instructed as a teacher.
What?
In Kurukshetra.
Bhagavad Gita. Yes. Can anybody speak 700 shlokas in 1 hour? Such beautiful shlokas, such beautiful answers and explanations that people are reading for all time to come, eternally. So he's a perfect teacher. Yes, very good, Mataji. Thank you. How Krishna is perfect as a renouncer? Yes, Mukta Sangha Prabhu.
Oh, he left his mother and father to go to Dwaraka. And these gopis, he left gopis to go to Dwaraka, and he never came back.
Hare Krishna. Thunderbolt. Mukta Sangha Prabhu. Yes, to save his parents from the atrocities of King Kansa, Krishna went to Mathura, then to destroy other demoniac forces like Jarasandh, Shishupal, Dantavakra, Poundrak. Krishna went to Dwaraka, and he lived away from Vrindavan for such a long time. Very difficult to give up the association of the dear Brajvasis, but Krishna did that. So yes, that is also there, renouncing. Okay. He is accepted as a supreme personality of Godhead by such authoritative personalities as Vyas, Deval, Asita, Narada. Srila Prabhupada also mentions Madhvacharya, Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jiva Goswami, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And Srila Prabhupada very sweetly mentions the name of his Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. All these acharyas, all the authorities have accepted Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. Not just we are saying, but all the authorities like Vyasa, Deval, Narad, they are accepting. What verse is it from Bhagavad Gita where this is mentioned? Yes, Satyarupa Mataji, Janani Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, Shashvatam Divyam, Ādi Devam, Ajam Vivam. Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve, Devarshir Narada Stata, Asito Devalo Vyasa, Swayam Cheva Bravishini.
Wow, wow, wow. Very nice. Thank you, Janani Mataji. That is a verse from Bhagavad Gita that corresponds to this line from the purport. Very nice. Now, Srila Prabhupada says something very intense. Those who depend more on their imperfect senses cannot realize Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Because Krishna is Adhokshaja. Srila Prabhupada, I have said this many times in my classes. Srila Prabhupada explains in one class the meaning of Adhokshaja. Akshaja, Ja means Janma. And A and Ksha, they are the first and last syllable of Sanskrit language, Sanskrit Bhasha. Sanskrit Bhasha begins with A and ends with Ksha, Srila Prabhupada says. So all the gamut of information, knowledge, learning that we have in the Bhasha, in the Dev Bhasha, Sanskrit, it is from A, it is born from A to Ksha. So Aksha Ja. All the complete knowledge is called Akshaja. We have some children are named Akshaja, which is complete knowledge that is included from A to Z, so to say. A to Ksha, Aksha Ja, born, Janma. So all the knowledge that we have with the help of all the language, all the letters, it is called Akshaja. And Krishna humbles us, pushes all this knowledge that we have acquired down. So it's called Adhokshaja. Adha means down. He humbles us. All this knowledge that we have, all these terminologies, all these words, all these languages that we have, with all that we cannot capture Krishna. Even with our senses, we cannot capture Krishna. So Krishna is called Adhokshaja, beyond all perception, beyond all knowledge. So like that, Krishna is Adhokshaja. He's beyond the range of experimental knowledge. And all our senses are imperfect. So there is no question of understanding Krishna with our senses. The Lord is beyond the observation of sense perception. Queen Kunti accepts this deficiency of the conditioned souls. So we cannot understand Krishna. Verse number 20. Tatha paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam bhakti yoga vidhanartham katham paschemahi striyaha. I am a stri. I am a woman. This is humility. Kunti Maharani. You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service unto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists. Amala Atmanam Bhakti Yoga. You give them devotional service. And also to the mental speculators, the Gyanis, who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. One who can discriminate between matter and spirit is called Paramahamsa. Why? Because a Hansa has a special mystic ability in our Vedic literature. These birds exist in the higher planets. You give them a mixture of milk and water, the Hansa can suck out the water and leave the suck out the milk and leave the water behind. The Hansa can separate milk from water and accept the milk and reject the water. That is a special ability of the Hansa. So therefore, devotees, advanced devotees are called Paramahansas. Why Paramahansas? Because they can also discern what is spirit, what is matter. They reject what is matter and they accept what is spirit. They know what is favorable for bhakti, they know what is unfavorable for bhakti. What is favorable they accept, what is unfavorable they reject. Anukulasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam. That is a sign of a Paramhamsa. So Krishna reveals himself to the Paramhamsas. and the very great transcendentalists, Amala Atmanam, who are very pure. How a simple woman like me can understand you? Kunti Maharani is praying. How I can understand? Katham paschema hi striya. How can I properly understand you? In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna is unknowable by great learning or by the greatest brain. But Krishna is knowable only by one who has his mercy. Others may go on thinking about Krishna for years together, but Krishna is unknowable. This very fact is corroborated by Queen Kunti, who is playing the part of an innocent woman. Innocent woman. Humbly she is saying. What verse of Bhagavad Gita is this? That only one who is favored by Krishna, only one who has bhakti can understand Krishna. Yes, Amrit Karan Prabhu.
Bhakta mama vijanati javanchasmi tattato.
Correct. Very nice.
Tattato gyata visadadantaram.
Thank you. Yes, Prabhuji. Women in general are unable to speculate like philosophers, but they are blessed by Krishna because they believe at once in the superiority and almightiness of Krishna, and thus they offer obeisances without reservation. So see, Srila Prabhupada is not speaking against women, or he's not saying that women are less intelligent or anything like that. Srila Prabhupada is saying that women, they are more emotional and sentimental, which is required for a woman to be a good daughter, wife, a mother, a grandmother. Is that mamata, that love, that vatsalya is required. So they are more, so they are not speculators like men, philosophers like men. No, they are simple-hearted women. Women are very simple-hearted, but they are very blessed, Srila Prabhupada says. They are more blessed than men. Why? Because they believe at once in the superiority and almightiness of Bhagavan, and thus they offer their obeisances without reservation. And this is seen. In most places we see that women, they surrender to God. They surrender to Krishna more than the men. Even if you see the list of devotees here, if you calculate, most of them are Matajis. Most of them are Matajis. And Srila Prabhupada said that our temples should be divided, the temple hall should be divided equally. There should be at least half temple hall just for Matajis. Srila Prabhupada said that, Prabhupada's instructions. Women come in greater numbers. They very easily accept the supremacy of Bhagwan. But at the same time, they have to be careful, because it is their nature to offer obeisances and be submissive. They can also accept fake gurus. They can also accept fake religious paths or sub-religious paths. They can surrender very easily. So that is also there. Therefore, they have to be careful that they surrender, but they should surrender to the Sadguru, to a genuine spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, for this reason only, women generally assemble in greater number in any sort of religious function. In every country and in every sect of religion, it appears that the women are more interested than the men. This simplicity of acceptance of Lord's authority is more effective than showy, insincere religious fervor, which the men have. They are armchair philosophers. They will sit down. So what do you think about Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva? Or what are you going to do? You cannot understand Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva. First, understand the Jiva Tattva. First, understand that you are, understand Dasyam. What is Dasyam? What is Sharanagati? That is more important than sitting and speculating. Once in a Harikatha, one devotee asked the Vakta, the speaker on Harikatha, speaker on Śrīmad Bhagavatam, so can you explain what is Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva? And the Guru asked, how many rounds are you chanting? One man asked. So can you explain what are the intricacies of Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva? And the Gurudev who was speaking, he said, how many rounds are you chanting? Kitna naam bhajan karte ho? Batao. Bole 16 mala karte. 16 mala se kuch nahi hoga. Nirantar chanting karo. Fir samajh mein aayega tumko. Constantly you chant, then you will understand. You don't have the patrata, you don't have the qualification to understand what is Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva. Don't stop philosophizing. First do bhajan. Then everything will be revealed. Divya Jnana Hridaya Prakashito. Verse number 21. Very beautiful. Let us all chant together. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. There is a similar verse also in our Vedic scriptures. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranata Kleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Two lines are similar, first and fourth line. This is a verse from Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Kunti Maharani is praying, Krishnaya Vasudevaya. Oh Krishna, you are Vasudev. Vasudev also means one who is present everywhere, one who is the master of the whole universe, and also the son of Vasudev Maharaj. Now, why she's addressing Krishna as Vasudev here? Because Kunti Devi is the sister of Maharaj Vasudev. That's how Krishna is her Bhatija, her nephew. So it says, Krishnaya Vasudevaya. Oh Krishna, you are Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are all attractive, but you are so kind that you have appeared as my nephew, Vasudev. So she's addressing Krishna in terms of her brother, Vasudev. Krishnaya Vasudevaya. So Krishna is called Vasudev. Similarly, in our Srila Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra, Srila Prabhupada is Saraswati, the disciple of Saraswati Thakur. Namaste Saraswati Devi. Our Gurudev, Prabhupada Dev, is Saraswati Dev. He is the disciple of Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada. Like that. So here Krishna is called, because he's son of Vasudev, he's called Vasudev. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha. Vasudev and Devaki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki. Devaki Nandanaya Cha. You are the son of Vasudev and Devaki. So you are called Vasudev and you are called Devaki Nandan. See how the names are coming. Krishnaya, all names. Krishnaya, Vasudevaya, O Krishna, O Vasudev, O Devaki Nandanaya, the son of Devaki, Devaki Nandan. Devaki Nandanaya Cha. Cha means and. Okay, so this is all Dwarka Lila, Mathura Dwarka Lila. Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya Cha. But who are you? Nanda Gopa Kumaraya. Actually, you are the Kumar, you are the son of Nanda Gopa. Nanda Maharaj is called Nanda Gopa because he is a Gopa. And also Nanda Gopa refers to Nanda Maharaj and his brothers, Sunanda, Upananda, and also all other Gopas. You are their Kumar, you are Nanda Kumar, you are Rajendra Kumar. Nanda Gopa Kumaraya, Govindaya, Namo Namaha. And finally, Kunti Maharani addresses Krishna as Govinda because Govinda and Krishna, these are the main names of Krishna. This Mula Nam. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur explains in Harinam Chintamani, in Jaiva Dharma also, that Krishna's names are of two types. There are the Mula Nam and there are the Gauna Nams. There are the primary names and secondary names. And as far as possible, we should chant the primary names. Primary names of Krishna are Krishna, Govinda, Gopal, Nandanandan, Yashodanandan, Shama Sundar. These are original names. In Golok Vrindavan, Krishna is called like that. And his secondary names are names like Patita Pavan, Dina Dayal, Paramatma, Param Brahman. These are all secondary names. They are also very nice, but they are not on the same level as the primary names of Krishna. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur writes that. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada, so let's read the translation. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisance unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudev. He has become the pleasure of Devaki. He has become the boy of Nanda and other cowherd men of Vrindavan. And he is the enlivener of the cows and the senses. Govindaya. I offer my obeisance. Namo Namaha. Namo Namaha. It is said that at least one verse of Śrīmad Bhagavatam every day we should chant, we should recite. At least one verse of Śrīmad Bhagavatam every day. Our acharyas have explained. And best if we can recite one chapter every day of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Srila Radha Govinda Maharaj, when he was growing up in his village in Bihar, he used to go to the bank of Ganga, and it was his niyam for a long time as a child. He would sit after school. The school would get over in the afternoon. He would go and he would sit on the bank of Ganga, and every day because he knew Sanskrit. He studied Sanskrit in his school. Every day, Srila Radha Govinda Goswami Maharaj, he would read one canto of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Just the Sanskrit, because he could understand. One canto of Śrīmad Bhagavatam every day, and he would memorize, he would do kanthastha, one chapter, one adhyaya every day. And this routine, Maharaj followed for a long time, many years. So, Srila Radha Govinda Goswami Maharaj, at one point, he knew the entire Śrīmad Bhagavatam by heart. Entire Śrīmad Bhagavatam by heart. Srila Prabhupada's disciples, different disciples, they have caught different limbs of bhakti and perfected them. Srila Radha Govinda Goswami Maharaj has perfected the limb called Bhagavata Sevan, Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj has perfected the limb of bhakti, Jiva Doya. Jiva Doya. He can go and just sweep entire village, give initiation to the whole village, giving them a chance to get connected to the parampara. After his stroke, Maharaj was recovering, and there was a person on the next bed in the ICU, and he was dying. He had some very severe disease and he was dying. And Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj just came out of his coma. And first question, actually this was after his combined kidney and liver transplant in Chennai. He came out of his medication-induced coma, and the first question he asked Mahavara Prabhu is, where is my counter? And how many rounds, how many days I have been in coma, how many rounds I have to chant, tell me. Such an acharya. And then he saw that somebody was dying. That person was coding. He was dying. In few minutes he would have died. So he told Mahavara Prabhu that bring me beads. I want to touch them and chant Hare Krishna. Go and put the beads on the chest of that patient and tell me what is the name. I am going to initiate that patient right now. I want to initiate because this patient is dying. And if I give him Diksha, at least he is guaranteed a human birth in his next life. And at least he will get chance to continue his Krishna consciousness because he has become initiated. And now he cannot commit any sins. He is about to die. Immediately let me initiate him. And Maharaj initiated him. Can you imagine? This is extreme mercy, unimaginable. You are willing to take the karma, someone you don't even know, but just to give mercy. Nitai Kripa. Pradayine. Very apt. This is Nitai Kripa. Na dekhe yogyata. What is that? Patrata na dekhe. He doesn't see whether one has got patrata or apatrata, qualification, disqualification. Doesn't see, just gives mercy. Nityananda Prabhu. Just gives mercy. Gaura Naam, Gaura Dham, Gaura Rupa Gun, Aparadha Nahi Mane, Tarite Nipun. Similarly, Jananivas Prabhu, Pankajangri Prabhu, disciple of Srila Prabhupada. What limb of bhakti they perfected? Archana. So like that, different devotees, they have taken different limbs and they have perfected themselves. Brihad Mridanga is very dear to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and to Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And this is our dhara, Bhakti Vinod, Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhakti Vedanta dhara. And of course, Srila Prabhupada so much stressed book distribution. So it's our family business. Who has perfected? Who has perfected this limb of bhakti? Srila Vaisheshika Maharaj. So in this way we see beautiful, all our acharyas, all our Guru Varga, if you analyze, they have taken one limb or two limbs of bhakti, Navavidha bhakti, and they have all their 64 items, and they have perfected it. Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu just cooked for 25 years for Radha Shyamsundar in Vrindavan. No other service, morning to evening, 16 hours in a day he would be cooking. So very beautiful. We should study the lives of our acharyas like that and get so much inspiration from them. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, in the Ram incarnation, the Supreme Lord remained a king's son from his very childhood. But in the incarnation of Krishna, although he was the son of a king, he at once left the shelter of his real father and mother, Vasudeva and Devaki, just after his appearance and went to the lap of Yashodamai to play the part of an ordinary cowherd boy in the blessed Vrajabhumi, which is very sanctified because of Krishna's childhood pastimes. Therefore, Lord Krishna is more merciful than Lord Ram. So, Lord Ramchandra remained a prince in the palace of Ayodhya, correct? Srila Prabhupada is writing. But did Krishna do that? No. He went to Vrajbhumi and he accepted all the villagers of all the Vrajvasis as his parents. And he would go to their house, steal the butter. He would do so many pastimes. Govardhan Leela also, he called everyone under Giriraj. And for 7 days, 7 nights, they were all having pastimes with him. So in this way, Krishna is more merciful. He gives himself more in his sweetness. Now Srila Prabhupada continues. Krishna was undoubtedly kind to Vasudeva Devaki. Undoubtedly Krishna was. For them, he left Vrindavan, came and killed Kansa and released them from the prison. Took them to Dwarka, kept them very happy there for 100 years. So undoubtedly, Krishna was very kind to his parents, Vasudeva and Devaki. And if Krishna had not become the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, then Queen Kunti could not claim Krishna to be her nephew. Correct? So it was because of Vasudeva that Kunti can claim Krishna to be her nephew, Bhatija. This is calling him Vasudev, therefore. But there is a but here. So undoubtedly Krishna was very kind to Vasudeva and Devaki, but Srila Prabhupada says, but Nanda Maharaj and Yashodamai are more fortunate than Devaki and Vasudeva. Hare Krishna. Why? Because they could relish Krishna's Balya Leela, Krishna's Pauganda Leela, Krishna's Kaishwara Leela. They relished all these pastimes of Krishna, especially the childhood pastimes, which are more attractive than other pastimes. Other pastimes means pastime of holding the hair of Kansa, dragging him down and punching him to death, and killing Shishupal with his Sudarshan Chakra, fighting with Jarasandh in Dwarka. So all this Hastinapur Leela, Mathura Leela, Dwarka, these Leelas are there. Kurukshetra Leela. These 4 Leelas are there. But the 5th Leela, Vrindavan Leela, is the topmost. Therefore, Aradhya Bhagavana, Vrajesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam. They are most wonderful. Srila Prabhupada writes, there is no parallel to Krishna's childhood pastimes as exhibited at Shri Vrajabhumi. These pastimes are the prototypes of his eternal affairs in the original Krishna Lok. Chintamani Dham, Shri Vrindavan Dham, Goloka Vrindavan. The eternal Leela that is going on, that was manifested in Shri Vrindavan Dham, Shri Vrajbhumi. Therefore, Nanda and Yashoda are more fortunate than Vasudeva and Devaki. His pastimes with Nanda and Yashoda and his pastimes with the cowherd men, especially with the cowherd boys and the cows, have caused him to become known as Govinda. Vinda means to give pleasure. Govinda means to give pleasure, to go. And our acharyas have explained what are the different meanings of go. So raise your hand and tell different meanings of the word go. Krishna gives pleasure to what? Vivek Prabhu.
Senses.
Okay, go means senses. Yes. Sarojanandini Mataji.
Cow Prabhu.
Okay, so Krishna gives pleasure to the senses. Krishna gives pleasure to the cows. Sarvapalak Ram Prabhu.
Prabhuji, sorry, I was about to tell about senses and cows, and also his master, he's lifted Govardhan, so he got that name.
Yes.
Go.
Very nice. So,
then also waves also, waves of the Yamuna also.
Wow. Can you tell how Krishna gave pleasure to Yamuna?
When Vasudeva Maharaj was taking him crossing the river, he wanted to give the touch of, he gave the, he fell down actually to give Yamuna Devi, pleasure actually.
Yes. And all the waves came in Yamuna out of ecstasy. So very beautiful. So Govinda, Vinda means to give pleasure, and Go has different meanings. So first meaning is senses. Second is the cows. Third is Sarvapalak Ramprabhu said Govardhan. Go refers to Govardhan. Krishna who gives pleasure to Govardhan. Krishna who gives pleasure to the waves of Yamuna. That is also called Go. What else? Sharmishta Mataji. Then Kirtida Sundari Mataji. What are the different meanings of Go?
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, is it gopis?
Of course. Gopis. Krishna who gives pleasure to the gopis. So that is Go, Govinda. Kirtida Sundari Mataji.
Go can also refer to Gopas.
Haribol. Yes, Krishna gives pleasure to his friends, Gopas. Okay, Devavati Mataji.
प्रभु गोपीज था लेकिन गोपीज से समिष्ठा माता जी ने बोल दिया और गो मीन्स मैंने सुना नहीं लेकिन इंद्रिया जो इंद्रिया होते गो मीन्स इंद्रिया
हाँ इंद्रिया yes that is also correct and also one more go Ananda Vilas Prabhu
Goloka.
the go also means earth. Krishna who gives pleasure to earth. Very nice. Amrit Gaurangi Mataji. Govinda, one more meaning.
But Prabhuji, I wasn't going to guess, is it Gokul Dham?
Gokul Dham, yes, that's what, yeah. Krishna who gives pleasure to the Dham, the Gokul Dham. Yes. And one more go.
Go can also refer to Goswamis.
Haribol, yes, that's what I was waiting for. Goswamis, Krishna who gives pleasure to the Goswamis. Can someone give examples how Krishna gives pleasure to the Goswamis? Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalakau. Yes, tell. Sanatan Goswami. Let's start. How Krishna personally comes and gives pleasure to the Goswamis. Govinda. Who can tell? Sanatan Goswami. Hare? What is this?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Sarvapalak Ram Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. When he was old, he could not do the Govardhan Parikram. So that time he came and he said you have to just circumambulate this small Shila, that you will get the benefit of circumambulating the Govardhan.
Yes. Wonderful. That story is there. Who else wants to say? Rupa Goswami. Amrit Karan Prabhu, you want to say how Krishna gives Rupa Goswami?
To Rupa Goswami, actually, Radharani personally came and with her veil, when the coaching sun is actually, it's a
Raghunath Das Goswami.
Raghunath, yeah.
Rupa Goswami is something that is under the veil.
Yeah.
So Rupa Goswami wrote that the hair of Radharani is like
it's like a black snake. Yeah, black snake. And Sanatan Goswami then personally revealed it. No, he saw personally.
Yes, to Sanatan Goswami. Very nice. Very nice. And then Raghunath Das Goswami already covered. So in this way, Krishna gives pleasure to the Goswamis. It's called Govinda. There are different meanings of the word Govinda.
Prabhu?
Yes.
Radharani gives pleasure to Rupa Goswami by giving a pot of sweet rice.
By giving a pot of sweet rice. Yes. Very nice. Yes. The Radharani is giving pleasure to the Goswamis. Very nice. That is also very beautiful story. Do you know what day it was? What day this happened? And Radharani, she actually didn't give. She gave the ingredients. And then she told Rupa Goswami, you continue your writing books. I will cook the sweet rice. She got the ingredients and she cooked also sweet rice. But do you know what day it was? Sucharu Padma Mataji?
It was the birthday of Sanatan Goswami.
Yes. Very nice. Thank you. So like that. So it's unfortunately 1 hour is up. I wanted to cover more verses today, but it's okay. We are going at our own pace, trying to relish Śrīmad Bhagavatam and the commentary, the purports of Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas. I have got the commentary here of Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, but I'm not going so much into it because it will further slow our pace. Already at this pace, we will take around 5 years, which is what His Grace Aniruddha Prabhu, my mentor from Mayapur Institute, Temple President of ISKCON Melbourne, has told me. That is how much they take. in the Melbourne temple also, 5 years. So, but if we do go into the commentaries, it will take even longer. But I hope this speed is okay for all of you. Again, we are reading Śrīmad Bhagavatam for our purification and for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas, our Guru Varga, and to deepen our bhajan. We are not doing this for any certificate or anything like that. But yes, those who take the exams, they, by Krishna's mercy, they will get the certificate also from Mayapur Institute. So thank you very much. I will pause here and we'll continue again on Tuesday. Granthara Śrīmad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari. So if there are any questions, we can take quickly. Yes, Satyarup Mataji and Janani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, you just mentioned that kids should be sent to Gurukul, were sent to Gurukul from the age of 5 to 25. Even today we have this, if we send our kids to Gurukul, many people in ISKCON they send. But will the kids not be, they will not get mother's love? And even for us also, how can we be away from the kids, Prabhu? I just wanted to know, because we have to send according to the real this one, but how to be away from them, because we love them so much that we cannot send them also. And hope you got the question. I don't know how to present it.
Yes. Therefore, in previously, the Guru and the Guru Mata, they were considered to be mother and father, because they would also give as much love as the biological parents would give. So that was a Vedic system, and not all the children were required to live forever, those 20 years in the ashram of the Guru, but many did. Not all, but many did, especially in the 3 classes, the Brahman, Kshatriya, and the Vaishyas. But not everyone lived there completely. And even if they did, the Guru and the Guru Mata, they were just like parents. They would give so much love and care to the students. That was a system. But now, for now in Kali Yuga, neither do we have such dedicated Gurukuls where children can get the love and care. And therefore, children should, as far as possible, remain with their parents. They should not be sent away for 20 years to Gurukul. They should not. Parents should take care of their children, give them love and training at home. They can go to the Gurukul in the daytime, but then they should come back, because we don't have such Gurukuls anymore. And the social structure also is no longer there. There is the society is not based on Varnashram anymore. So therefore, in ISKCON, in today's day and age, in the year 2022, parents should take care of their children themselves at home, and they should try to give them Krishna conscious education. Either if there is a ISKCON school available, like we have in NVCC, or we have in Radha Ras Bihari Mandir, or there is one near Radha Giridhari Mandir also in Bombay. So like that, if there are devotee schools, we have a school here in Dallas, in Alachua. Those facilities are there, then children can go to devotee schools. But otherwise, the parents should take care of the children. Even if they go to devotee school, the parents should take care of the children at home. Give them a lot of love, affection, and wholesome upbringing. Not necessary to go to Gurukul. Many of the great devotees in our movement today, the 2nd and 3rd generation devotees, they didn't go to Gurukul. They were trained by their parents with love and affection, and they do just fine. So those are my thoughts. Okay. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji just wanted to share, when we had been to our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Swami Maharaj, Maharaj asked me whether would you like to put your kids to Gurukul. Then I said, no, Maharaj, I'm not ready because I love them too much. Then Maharaj asked kids, are you both ready? Then kids said, no, we don't want to leave mother. So then Maharaj said, Guru Maharaj said, don't force them. Only if they are ready, you put, otherwise you take good care of them. Is it this because the same reason, Prabhuji? Maharaj felt that I can give them more love and good sanskar instead of admitting them to Gurukul. Is it so?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because if parents are like you, they are practicing Krishna consciousness, they're chanting their at least 16 rounds, following the regulative principles, reading Śrīmad Bhagavatam. So then there is no need to go to Gurukul. They will get better training, better upbringing at home, because parents love the children so much and they will give them the best. We have the example of Arudha Mataji, her two sons, Radhika Raman Prabhu and Hari, what is the name? Hari Vallabh.
Gopal Hari.
Gopal Hari Prabhu. Gopal Hari Prabhu. They are both such wonderful devotees, exemplary devotees. They are the hope for our society today. So that is, they didn't go to Gurukul. They were trained by their mother with devotion, with dedication, and just see the results. They are successful in the material world and they are successful in the spiritual life also. So yes, and Srila Bhakti Raghav Swami Maharaj, he is our Acharya in our movement, who very nicely teaches Daivi Varnashram. So Maharaj is an authority. Whatever Maharaj says, yes, that is perfect. So he gave you such a wonderful advice that if they are not ready, just take care of them at home, give them love and Krishna consciousness at the same time. Is that okay, Mataji? Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, with your permission, may I add one or two lines here?
Yes, Shamchandra Prabhu.
Yeah, see, the next best thing is, if we are not able to put our children to Gurukul, is to create a Gurukul environment at home, and also select a school which may not be the best school in the locality, but then at least if the school has got some basic spiritual values, like they teach Sanskrit as one of the languages, and also the school has got some regular prayers. Like many schools which teach Sanskrit, they also have the regular prayers, and some of these prayers also have this which are similar to what ISKCON Gurukul would teach. So in the bygone era, the parents were crazy to go after a convent school because of I think it came from the previous generation, where the influence of the British Raj was too much, and but now when we realize that probably it was a mistake, but then we can put our children in a school which teaches Sanskrit. So at least the sloka recitation, all those things can be perfected, and the remaining things the parents can complement and supplement at home. There can be many ways that one can nurture the children at home also. So that would be sometimes even better than even a Gurukul, so-called Gurukul environment. So this is just a small addition, Prabhu. So if that can help, it will be useful. This is what we did for our children.
Yes. So Shamchandra Prabhu, as you know, he is the
thank you so much.
father of Amarendra Prabhu and Arjun Sakha Prabhu. So I didn't want to name them because Prabhuji may feel embarrassed. But yes, I'm glad Prabhuji spoke up. So yes, we should get such tips from parents who have done it very successfully. So thank you, Shamchandra Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Amrit Gaurangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams.
Amrit Gaurangi Mataji is another example.
Oh, Prabhu,
how to give
Prabhu,
such
Prabhu.
wonderful upbringing. Both her sons, Aniruddha and Anish. I don't want to say much because it will be embarrassing, but
It is embarrassing, Prabhu. It is embarrassing.
Wonderful family.
This is very humbling, and anyway, I take it as a blessing from you when it comes from your lotus mouth. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So my question, Prabhu, yesterday we were doing the Bhakti Diksha class, and we were reading the purport by Prabhupada for chapter 8, in which Prabhupada was saying about how Lord Rama and Rashima can all be worshipped, and Krishna tells in that verse that Mam upetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. So the question that was asked is, so can we also worship Lord Rama or Lord Narasimha, and worshipping them also takes us to that place where we don't come back again to material planets? So I said yes, but I was at loss of words to explain to them the difference between worshipping Krishna. There is difference, at the same time there is no difference. So how do I explain that?
So all these forms of the Supreme Lord, Lord Narasimhadev, Lord Narayan, Lord Ramchandra, they are all eternal forms. and they have their own abodes. They have their own planets in the spiritual sky where they live eternally with their devotees, loving devotees. They have pastimes, and they live there forever, eternally, having loving exchanges with the devotees. And in Tattva, there is no difference between worshipping Ram, Narsimhadev, Lord Narayan of Vaikuntha, or Lord Krishna. In Tattva, there is no difference because they are all the same Supreme Lord. In terms of rasa, there is a lot of difference, because with Lord Narayan or with Lord Ramachandra, mainly it is Dasya Bhav. Mainly it is servitude. There is some Vatsalya, but Lord Ram has only one set of parents, Dashrath Maharaj and his 3 wives. And rest, all the relationships, they are in Ayodhya, they are in Dasya Bhav, where he is Ayodhyapati and Mother Sita is Ayodhya Rani. So there is Dasya Bhav. There is very little Sakhya Bhav, and that Sakhya also is very much Aishwarya Mishrit. For example, Sugriv is in Sakhya Bhav with Lord Ramachandra, but he is also very respectful. He bows down, he does Abhishek of Lord Ram, and he looks at Lord Ram for protection. So like that. Same with Vibhishan. Vibhishan also has Sakhya, but it is very much Mishrit with awe and reverence, Aishwarya. So mainly it is Dasya only. Whereas only in Krishna Leela, we have the full Sakhya experience, where Krishna climbs on the shoulder of his friends climb on Krishna's shoulder, they eat from each other's plate, they wrestle with each other, they joke. So that is there only in Krishna Leela. You don't see Lord Ramchandra doing that. And the full experience of Vatsalya also is there only in Krishna Leela, where Krishna not only accepts Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj as his parents, but also the elder Gopas and Gopis, going in their house, stealing, passing stool and urine in their homes, pinching their little child and waking them up in their sleep and making them cry. All these sweet pastimes, naughty pastimes, only Krishna does. Lord Ramchandra, even as a child, was very grave. He was very grave. And so yes, so there is, in terms of rasa, and of course Madhurya rasa is not there available for devotees in Vaikuntha or in Ayodhya. It is only for Lakshmi. There is only one Kanta, and that is Lakshmi Devi or Sita Devi. But only in Golok Vrindavan, there is Madhurya Ras, and in Madhurya Ras, there are many, many categories. There are many, many types of Naikas. Then there are Manjaris. All that is explained by Srila Rupa Goswami in his book Radha Krishna Ganodesh Deepika, and in much more detail in Ujjwal Nilamani. In fact, in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami explains the 5 main rasas and 7 secondary rasas in which a devotee reciprocates with Krishna. But then Srila Rupa Goswami thought that he has not done enough justice to Shringar Ras, Madhurya Ras. So he wrote a separate book, bigger book, called Ujjwal Nilamani. And His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj has translated that with the commentaries of Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Just talking about the Madhurya Ras, which is only there for Krishna. It is not available in Ram Leela or Narayan, Lord Narayan of Vaikuntha. So there is, in one sense, there is no difference. Anybody who attains Ram or Narayan will never come back to this material world, never. Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamanatishta Nana Avatar. There are many such avatars, and they are all perfect and complete. They have their perfect and complete abodes. But in terms of rasa, in terms of Leela, the supreme form of the absolute truth is Krishna. Therefore, Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayastad Dhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargenaya Kalpita Śrīmad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Umarto Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatradharana Para. So this, in one verse, Srila Srinath Chakravarti, one of our acharyas, he has summarized the entire Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. So you can send this verse to the students and share this, teach them this verse, where it's clearly said that all the forms of who are worshipable, the highest form is Krishna of Vrindavan. And like that you can explain to them. So in rasa there is a lot of difference, but in tattva there is no difference. So what answer you gave was perfect. Hare Krishna.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Amrit Karana Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful presentation, Prabhuji. Actually, in Bhagavatam, we are getting the first prayer started with lady like Queen Kunti, and she is like our guru. So Prabhupada also spoke a lot regarding her prayer. Like we have one book, small book, Teaching of Queen Kunti. So though the woman has a divine nature, like emotional, sentimental, and is there simple-hearted, but also they have a lot of advanced in knowledge. In our class also, we could see they're very advanced. So sometimes I'm thinking that why some of our lady in ISKCON, they may be a guru. Sometimes the spiritual master, they have so advanced in all way. But also Prabhupada told they need always protection from their husband, from their parents when they're before marriage, and when they're elder, become older and older, protected by their husband and also their older son or whatever. No, but then my question is that, Prabhuji, can you tell something why sometimes it's also question arising now, they are so advanced in knowledge and realize so some ladies in ISKCON, why still they cannot be like guru, spiritual master?
The advanced Vaishnavis in our movement, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, they are already Shiksha Gurus, correct?
Yeah.
They're already Shiksha Gurus. They're guiding so many devotees. They are giving classes. So they're already Shiksha Gurus. And as far as Diksha Guru is concerned, as far as the Siddhanta is concerned, can a Vaishnavi become a Diksha Guru? The answer is yes. Because there is so much Praman. Janama Devi, Srimati Janama Devi, she was a Diksha Guru. Srimati Ganga Mata Goswamini was a Diksha Guru. Srimati Vishnu Priya Thakurani, she was a Diksha Guru. So, the daughter of Srinivas Acharya. So, like that in our parampara, there are several examples of Matajis, ladies, Vaishnavis, being not just Shiksha Gurus, but Diksha Gurus. And all our acharyas have accepted that. Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa Goswami, they accepted Srimati Janava Devi as the leader of all Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And Sri Narottam Das Thakur accepted. And he invited Srimati Janava Devi to the Kheturi festival, the first Gaur Purnima festival. And everything was conducted under Mother Janava Devi. And although she was a Diksha Guru, she was cooking. So she did not give up her motherly duties. She cooked for Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, Shyamananda Pandit. She cooked for everyone. She gave gifts to all the Vaishnavas, just like a mother would do. So like that. So women are mothers, no doubt. They are Matajis, they are mothers. And based on spiritual advancement, any pure devotee can become a Diksha Guru, whether he is a man or a woman, doesn't matter, because anyway we are not the body. At the same time, we have to see the social structure, and the general norm, the general tradition is that men take the role of becoming sannyasis and traveling and preaching and accepting disciples, because there is great danger also in being a guru. We see that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was attacked, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was attacked, Srila Prabhupada was attacked. And to travel, to preach, one has to really expose oneself to the stressful elements in the society. And like you rightly pointed out, the way Krishna has made women, they have to be given protection. And because the men in this world, unfortunately, have an enjoying tendency. They consider themselves Purush. Purush means the enjoyer. They have, unfortunately, this tendency, bhog vritti. They want to enjoy. And who do they want to enjoy? They want to enjoy the Stree. This is a very unfortunate reality of this world. So this is a practical difficulty. Therefore, also a male disciple may not feel comfortable revealing, all his problems to a female guru, isn't it? These practical difficulties are there. Therefore, majority of the times, the Diksha guru is a male devotee, is a Vaishnava, and Vaishnavis, they can be Shiksha guru, and in some cases they can also be Diksha guru. There is no restriction as such. But most commonly, Srila Prabhupada said not so much. When he was asked, can women become Diksha gurus? Prabhupada said yes, but not so much, not so often. Generally, it was not the thing. So like that. So yes, can they become? Yes, of course they can become. And even if now, like I remember when we were inviting Her Grace Urmila Mataji for giving a class to the ISKCON Atlanta congregation, I had written an email to her and I had asked Mataji, can you give me some brief introduction about yourself so I can read it before you give your class. So in that, she clearly mentions, Urmila Mataji, she mentions that I am such and such, I live in such and such place, and I live under the protection of my son. Like that. So like that. So yes, can they become Diksha Gurus? Yes, they can become Diksha Gurus. Are there qualified Matajis who can become Diksha Gurus? Yes. So, but at the same time, you have to see the society, the practical difficulties. And I think in most cases, it is best to accept them as Shiksha Guru. And some of them may choose to become Diksha Gurus also, and that's also fine. But majority of them are going to be male devotees, sannyasis or grahasthas. Like that. Even brahmacharis can become gurus. That's also possible. But generally male, because being a guru is not so easy. You have to practically, travel, preach, expose yourself to so much stressful elements in society. And for a Mataji, it may be practically risky to do that. So like that. Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, there is no difference. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Srila Prabhupada says, there is no difference. So why should we expose the Vaishnavis to the additional stress of being a Diksha Guru? Majority of them can be Shiksha Gurus, and some of them can be Diksha Gurus also, depending on time, place, and circumstances. India is still more traditional. So there may be more resistance for a Vaishnavi to become Diksha Guru. But in principle, can they become? All our acharyas, there should be no debate. Can a Mataji become, can a Vaishnavi become Diksha Guru? There is no question of any debate or discussion. Answer is yes.
Yes.
Answer is yes. Yes, Vaishnavi can become Diksha Guru. There is no question about it. But Srila Prabhupada said, not so many. Most of them will be men for practical reasons. See, in Krishna consciousness, in our Bhagavat Marg, there is no restriction based on the sex or the caste or the country of origin or the place of birth, color of skin, varna, ashram. There is no. Bhakti is beyond all this. If we limit ourselves to these categories, oh, this is Mataji, this is Prabhuji, this is Indian Guru, this is American Guru, this is Grahastha Guru, this is Sannyasi Guru. If we start categorizing like that, then we are making Krishna consciousness very mundane. We are making it laukik, isn't it? These are laukik considerations, mundane considerations. So they are not there. All this is not there. Krishna consciousness is purely transcendental. At the same time, we are practicing a transcendental science of Krishna consciousness in a material world. So we have to respect the material boundaries, material limitations also. Like I know one Mataji, she's 60 years old and she was assaulted sexually on Vrindavan Parikrama Marg in the morning. She was taken to the side and she was gagged and assaulted. So you see, we have to be very careful. This is a very dangerous world, and therefore Matajis have to be very careful. They have to be protected, and it is our duty as men to protect and look after the Vaishnavis. protect them, not expose them to unnecessary stress and risk in this world. So that is my humble opinion. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ananta Vilas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Thank you once again for this very nectarian class as always. Prabhuji, I have a two-part question. In the beginning of the class, you were sharing about this stuti, and you were sharing like your conversation with His Grace Amarendra Prabhu. So, if you could, Prabhu, if you could elaborate a little more on that, like how that, like how can we really do that, like for increasing our taste in Śrīmad Bhagavatam? And second part is Prabhu, like I personally feel like somehow like when I hear like somewhere I feel like the retention of like whatever I'm hearing, I can understand, but then like if I have to in terms of retention, like I can how do I increase my retention, bro? Okay. So if you can share
first question, how to Amarendra Prabhu told me that his best friends are the Vaishnava bhajans, songs of our Vaishnava acharyas, and the different geets, the different stutis, different prayers of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. So Prabhuji told me that we should read them, sing them, recite them, understand the meaning, reflect on the meaning. That's how we can get absorbed in them and make spiritual advancement. But more details you can ask Amarendra Prabhu directly in one of his classes. Because he has done it, I have not done it. So Amarendra Prabhu can answer it better, directly hear from him. Second question, how to improve our retention? Only two things. We have to do Vaishnava Seva and we have to increase our Nam Bhajan. Our Nam Bhajan and Vaishnava Seva are the patra, the vessel in which we can receive and retain whatever is being spoken in Hari Katha. Otherwise, we can hear years and years and years of Hari Katha, not from a Kanishtha like me, but even from a pure devotee we may hear. But much transformation will not take if that Hari Katha is not supported by Nam Bhajan and Vaishnava Seva. So remember, these two principles are very important. We have to chant a lot. 16 rounds is very, very minimum. We have to chant a lot, or constantly we should chant. Even when the mala is not there, we should keep chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Khaite, shuite, chalite, phirite, uthite, bashite, yatha tatha naam lay, desh kal niyam nai, sarva siddhi hai. Walking, talking, eating, sleeping, sitting, getting up, all the time you have to keep chanting Harinam. Desh kal niyam nai, sarva siddhi hai. And we have to do Vaishnava Seva. Prabhu kahe Vaishnava Seva naam sankirtan dui kara shigra pabe Shri Krishna charan. Unless and until we are doing Vaishnava Seva and we are doing Nirantar Naam, no matter how much Hari Katha we hear, how much Bhagavatam we read, we will not be able to retain it in our heart. Because that retention patra, to retain it, that is our Vaishnava Seva and Nam Bhajan. So we have to increase our Vaishnava Seva and Nam Bhajan. Is that okay, Anant Vilas Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Very much. Thank you so very much.
Dasosmi. Sharmishta Mataji, then Divya Mataji, then we'll stop.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. Prabhuji, my question is that you mentioned about reading Śrīmad Bhagavatam every day, one chapter we should read. So my question is it okay to read without reading the purport, or is it okay only verses we can decide?
So we should have Swadhyaya. Like what we are doing in Bhakti Vaibhava, these classes, this is Swadhyaya. We are reading, generally we are reading the Sanskrit for most of the verses. We are reading Srila Prabhupada's translation and we are reading key aspects of Srila Prabhupada's purports. So this is called Swadhyaya. So this must happen. In addition to this, as part of our daily Vandana, because Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, glorifying the Lord, offering prayers is one of the 9 limbs of Bhakti. Navavida Bhakti. So as part of Vandanam, we chant these Ashtakams that our Acharyas have written, like Yamuna Ashtakam, Vrinda Devi Ashtakam, like that. We Nandanandan Ashtakam. We chant these Ashtakams as part of our Vandanam. And also part of Vandanam is to chant some prayers of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Therefore, in the morning, we read Gopi Geet. That's one full chapter, plus 2 verses of the next chapter. Chapter 32 के first two verses, and the entire 31st chapter, all 19 verses. So that's one full chapter of Bhagavatam. And it is the most important chapter of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, the Gopi Gita. So therefore, everyday devotees can recite the Gopi Gita like that. So yes, and that we can do without reading the purports, because that's just part of our Vandanam. We are chanting it for the pleasure of Mahaprabhu. Because from Chaitanya Charitamrita we learn that Mahaprabhu loves Gopi Gita. He gave his mercy to Maharaj Pratap Rudra when Maharaj Pratap Rudra chanted the Gopi Gita. So all these prayers we are chanting for the pleasure of our Ishtadev, for the pleasure of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Is that okay, Sharmishta Mataji?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Prabhuji, I have one more doubt regarding Vaishnav Seva. There are so many devotees coming to my home every day, kind of in between 2-3 days, and asking for donations and so many things. So it is not always possible to give donation to everyone, because if we are giving to one place or 2 persons, or that is okay, but we can't afford to give donation to everyone. So is it like aparad or what?
No, it is not aparad. So what we should offer them is sweet words, a place to sit, and some water, if possible, some prasad, and sweet words of welcome, a place to sit, asan to sit, and some water, some prasad. We should offer every Vaishnava who comes home. That is our duty. If we don't do these 3 things, sweet words, welcome words, asan to sit down, some water and some prasad, if we don't give, then there is an offense. We must give these 3 things. As far as
when no male person is at home, so what we should do? Because it is also, you have mentioned before so many days, that if there is no male person, we shouldn't allow anyone to into our home.
Yeah, if Prabhuji is not there at home, then you can say that there is nobody at home, please forgive me. We should fold our hands, please forgive me. But if Shri Guru comes, if Guru Maharaj comes, then we should receive Guru Maharaj. In the Shripad Ramanujacharya Charitra, it is mentioned that when he came to the house of Lakshmi, Lakshmi was one of his disciples, female disciples. Husband was not there. Husband had gone to do some seva outside. They were very poor, Dampati, Brahman Dampati, husband, wife. Husband was not there, Lakshmi was alone. She received Shripad Ramanujacharya and tried her best to cook for Shripad Ramanujacharya and his disciples who were accompanying. But if you are alone, you should never let anybody inside, generally, unless that person is a pure devotee. So we have to be very careful. Don't you just fold your hands and say that I am alone. And a sadhu will not come in the house only if a Mataji is alone. Impossible. A sadhu sannyasi will never come and never enter the house. A grahastha, no man, no Vaishnava will enter the house if you are alone. Brahmachari, never. And even a grahastha devotee, you should not. Even if you know somebody, you should not open the door. That is not the culture. Even Mother Sita, there is mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana, when that sadhu in the form of sadhu Ravan came, she told him, you wait outside. Only because he insisted, she gave a pot of water, but that time also he grabbed her. And also it is mentioned in Mahabharata also, when the Pandavas were in Vanvas, at that time Jayadratha came. You know that story? Jayadratha came, and the 5 brothers, they were outside. They had gone to get some food and in the forest, and Draupadi Devi was alone at home. And Jayadratha was going on his way to get married. He was going to get married, and on the way he sees Draupadi and says, I want to marry her also. So he gets down from his rath, he has got his army, and he abducts Draupadi Devi. He kidnaps Draupadi Devi. That story is there in Mahabharata. That's when Bhim and Arjun, they punished Jayadratha, caught him, captured him, beat him up, and punished him. They wanted to kill him for abducting their wife. But Yudhishthir Maharaj said that this Jayadratha is married to the sister of Duryodhan. So let's not kill him, because he's our brother-in-law. So they let him go. But anyway, so many examples are there in Shastra where Vaishnavi, when alone, should not let any man inside. He should not let, except if it is Gurudev. If Gurudev comes, then definitely our life belongs for the seva of Guru. There's no need. And there is no man devotee, though, no Vaishnava who will want to enter the house when he knows that the Mataji is alone. So they don't. As far as money is concerned, if they ask money, you can just say that if you have Shraddha and you want to give, you can give. But like you said, so many people come every day because you live in a dham. So many devotees come, you should just fold your hands and say that money I don't have to give. I don't have, but I'm not able to give money. But you should give those three things. When Prabhuji is there at home, when your husband is there, sweet words of welcome, a place to sit, some water and some prasad. If they want money for some medicines, you can give. But if they're just asking medicines, then they're just asking money, then you can just fold your hands, express regret that without speaking rudely, sorry, I'm not able to give. This is what I'm able to give. Like that. Is that okay? There is no offense. Offense happens when we speak rudely, or we hurt them. That why are you asking? Can't you do some work? Why are you asking money? That is not our position. We should not criticize them or speak rudely to them, but very politely we should express our regret that I'm not able to give money. Like that. Okay, clear?
Prabhuji, sometimes my Prabhuji rudely replied them, so I always say him not to reply him like that, but he never listened. So is it also my मतलब मुझसे अपराध हो रहा है क्या कि मैं रोक रही हूँ, he is not stopping.
आपसे नहीं हो रहा है. One who is speaking rudely, that person will be implicated, not you. Especially you are telling him not to speak rudely. So you just pray for your husband. He will also stop speaking rudely. Krishna is very kind. Krishna purifies everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Last question, Divya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Since they were talking about raising children with Bhagavatam and Madhurya Ras, my 15-year-old son, he asked me a question that I couldn't answer, and it was relating to Madhurya Ras. He asked me, and he reads Bhagavatam, and he asked me about intimate pastimes between Krishna and the gopis, where he was asking me why gopis are asking Krishna to touch their breast. So I couldn't answer that question. So I'm just wondering, how do we understand that pastime and how do we explain it to kids? And should they be reading those kind of pastimes?
The gopis are not asking Krishna to touch the gopis are asking Krishna to touch their heart. There it means sthana means heart. So that's how we should read it to our children also, and explain it in that way, that the gopis, they love Krishna so much that they're asking Krishna to place his lotus feet on their heart. That sthana, we should translate it as heart. And maybe the children should wait a little to read the intimate pastimes, because as long as we consider Radha and Krishna to be man and woman, we don't have a right to read the intimate pastimes, because Radha and Krishna are not man and woman. They are not man and woman. But today only we are reading that Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanum ashrita. Krishna may come in the form of man, Radharani may come in the form of woman to perform their Naravat Leela, but it is Naravat Leela. Vat means like, it is human-like pastime, but they are not human beings. Therefore, first children should read about Godharan Leela, how Krishna picks up the Govardhan mountain, how Krishna, he kills so many demons, how he bifurcates the body of Bakasur, who even Indra could not defeat, how he chopped off the head of Shishupal. So like that, how he saved Arjun. So all those things first children should relish. When they understand the Bhagatavya, the godliness of Krishna, the grandeur of Krishna, then when they are doing Nam Bhajan, then they can slowly enter into these pastimes. But as long as we identify with the body, we think we are the body, and we think Krishna and Radharani also have, Krishna and the gopis also have ordinary bodies, then we will misunderstand those pastimes. So you can just tell him that gopis are the highest devotees of Krishna, and because they are the highest, we have to wait to understand Krishna's interactions with the gopis. Just like your son is 15 years old now, so he must be in high school or middle school. So if he starts reading PhD level books, you can tell your son, can you understand PhD level books? He'll not understand. So gradually, first he has to clear his 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, like that. and then go to undergrad, then do graduation, then post-graduation, then PhD. So it's way away. So slowly, step by step, we have to go. So this is the highest. Like you and your son both know, the love of the gopis is the highest. Highest means it is PhD level. So we have to slowly progress there. Is that okay, Divya Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Also, you spoke about Vaishnava Seva. Now, in my situation, like I used to do Vaishnava Seva when I was personally associating with devotees. Like I used to like to cook. I used to cook and serve the Vaishnavas. But right now, when I'm not associating with Vaishnavas on personal level, then how is it possible, like being home and serving Vaishnavas?
So Vaishnava Seva, yes, the best way is to do it sakshat, in person. But Vaishnava Seva can also be done when we are not in the presence of devotees, by hearing their Hari Katha and whatever instructions they are giving, following them. Now, imagine there is one Vaishnava. He comes and gives a class and says that you should chant your rounds in the morning attentively every day. You should offer whatever you cook in the house, you should offer it to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna every day. And then after the lecture, somebody comes and gives an envelope, $108 donation to that sadhu. And the sadhu accepts that donation on behalf of Krishna and goes. And there is another devotee who could not be there in person, but he hears the class, he or she hears the class and accepts those two instructions in life. Okay, I'm going to chant every morning attentively during Brahma Murta. Whatever I cook in my kitchen, I'm going to offer it nicely to Krishna. I'll make sure it's without onion, garlic, it's vegetarian. I'll offer it to Krishna and I will feed my family Krishna Prasad. That devotee accepts those instructions and follows it. So who has done greater Vaishnava Seva? For the sadhu, from the point of view of the sadhu, that person is better who is hearing the Hari Katha and following the instructions than someone who is simply sitting, giving a donation, but not following so much. So when you hear Hari Katha and you follow the instructions of the sadhu, or in your heart you glorify the sadhu, wow, what nice Hari Katha Maharaj has given today. Wow, I really like this point very much. And you share it with others. You are doing seva. Because seva means to please. By doing this, by this behavior, you are pleasing that sadhu. So you are serving that sadhu. So in this way, we can serve even when we are not in the presence of devotees. And if you pray to Krishna, very soon you will get opportunities where you can in person serve Vaishnavas. Don't worry, that opportunity will come. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Śrīmad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you very much, dear devotees.
Thank you.
See you on Tuesday.